Hey, I'm Cordelia Kate, and today I'm going to be helping you design a professional looking Instagram carousel in about 15 minutes using Canva. And you're going to walk away with a reusable carousel template that you can copy every time. So you'll stop losing 45 minutes to fonts and nudging pixels. This is about being consistent, about being fast, about having a system and producing more Instagram carousels, which I have to say is definitely coming up for me. They are such a good thing to be creating and not necessarily something that you want to create from scratch. I'm going to show you today how to take a piece of content you've already created and turn that into a carousel so that you don't have to then custom think, oh, what stuff can I now be putting on carousels? So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to take a piece of content that I've already got and we're going to repurpose it into a carousel post. And we are going to do that on Canva. We're not going to get AI to create these images. We're going to make them ourselves, but we're going to template it so it's really easy to do it again and again so that we're going to use AI to get the content to put on the carousels. And then you've got the template there ready for you to just put the information on the template. Ingredients. What you are going to need for this to work is an AI that is your favorite. Currently, mine is Claude, moving more over to Claude, loving it. But ChatGPT is also a firm favorite because it's got my entire life in its memory, which is helpful. And retraining a new AI is a pain. So a AI of your choice. It could be Gemini, it could be Claude, it could be ChatGPT. There are many others as well. It could be that. Whichever one you're using to create content with at the moment, you want that. The second thing you want, what we're going to use is a transcript of a video. Now, if you don't have a video, it could be a blog post. If you don't have a blog post, it could be a Facebook post that you wrote that was great. It just needs to be a piece of content. The chunkier, the better. It needs to have it like a 10-second reel is not enough, really. We want to have something that is long, that's got a good amount of text if we transcribe it, or has a good amount of text because it's a good size post. We also need to have a Canva account. We're going to do this in Canva and build it ourselves. And, here's the thing is that Canva's amazing. Like, it's so good. I love it so much, but it can take a long time to produce things. Design is one of those things where it takes so much flipping time. And my recommendation is just always have a template and start from a template because it makes your life so much easier than starting from scratch. So by the end of today, what you will have is a template so that you can make this super easy. Now, let me just go ahead and share my screen so that we can jump into Canva and start playing around. Carousel post, by the way, is where you have multiple squares or this new portrait shape that Instagram uses because it fills up more of the screen. It's a good option. Multiple of those together in one post. So for instance, this is slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, slide 4, slide 5, and there we have it. So the great thing about carousels, let's say this shows up in your feed. If you're seeing it for the first time, it's likely going to show up on slide 1, and this is what you're going to see. If you flick through and you see slide 2, but you don't see slide 3 or 4 or 5, it's going to show up in your feed again. And so it is the only content that is showing up in Instagram feeds multiple times because people haven't seen these other slides. And if the algorithm thinks, oh, they might be interested in this, it's showing it again to that person again. Have a look in your Instagram feed. You will notice that you're seeing carousels that you saw previously show up again because you didn't flick through all the slides. So that is the potential for double the visibility, which as a commodity on Instagram is worth a hell of a lot. You could create them as slides and you could make them really kind of straightforward where you just have text. That's fine. But if you want to make them funky where you've got maybe you going across, you've got this job where you've got to try and line these up. And you think, oh, is that the right section of my face with there? Because otherwise, if you get it wrong, when people do slide through it, what's going to happen is you're going to have missed out a bit of your face. Or maybe you've got a double up of a bit of your face, which is great, except for the fact that it just takes away from the polished look of how good this can look. And it's so simple to do this once you've got a bit of a template in place. So we're going to make a template that does that basically today, that gives you not just we see them all the time, and they're very easy to create with AI, and they're very easy to automate with tools like Make or NAN, which is these text on plain background carousel posts, and they're still good. But the ones that have got your face on and a bit of imagery, they're so much better. Problem is, they take so long to create until you've watched this video, got the template, and then it's super, super easy. So that is your options. You've got square and you've got the kind of portrait. And I would probably just go with, if you're only using this on Instagram, go with the portrait. If you're planning, even if you're planning on sharing it to other places, the portrait is better. And it's everything inside here is now being shown on your grid, whereas the square, everything on the edge gets cut off. So this is important because we are going to basically, how we're going to do this is we're going to build it on a big background like this, and then we are going to snip it up afterwards. I'm going to show you how we do that. So first and foremost though, once we've decided that we're going to do this size, the thing that we're going to create next, the actual stuff that's going to go on the carousel itself. So what I have here is a transcript of one of my YouTube videos. Let me just open up Claude, and I've got a prompt that is going to get, and I'm going to simplify it as we go, but I'll walk you through what this prompt is because I think it's too complicated for what I want to do. I've got a prompt that I'm going to paste into Claude, and the prompt is: use the transcript below to create me a carousel outline and what to say on each slide using the following formula. The formula is too in depth. So we're going to go slide 1 and slide 2, and then we're going to go 3, 4, 5 for the main content. And then we're going to go slide 9 is going to be slide 6. Call to conclusion and call to action. Get rid of that. Way too complicated. And there we go. Rules. Make sure each slide is punchy and not block text. This is for an Instagram carousel and should be easy to digest. Make sure you don't use M dashes. That's those long dashes, the ones that give it away that you're using AI. If people see those long dashes, their eyes just move away. They're like, ugh, AI generated content, and they just lose interest fairly fast. So get it to remove those. Plain text, no markdown. Markdown is when it likes to put asterisks, like in WhatsApp where you put asterisks on the side of things that you want to make bold. That's called markdown. Get it to not produce that, because often it produces that as a default, and actually what happens is you just end up having to go through and delete them all because whatever you're pasting into doesn't accept markdown. So the next thing is that we've got, here is the transcript. And so I'm just going to come here and grab that transcript and paste it here. Sometimes PDFs copy and paste a bit weird. Fingers crossed. There we go. It's attached it up there. So let's just go attached. And then post it in. And so that is hopefully going to come up with a really lovely carousel outline for us. Okay, so we're going to ignore the visual stuff, but it's nice to have a bit of a guideline. What we're going to do first is just grab the text. Well, first we'll just read it and have a look to see if it's okay. So bearing in mind, by the way, this transcript, which is important for you to know, is a YouTube video that I did entitled "Why Social Media Isn't a Marketing Strategy and What to Do Instead." And it was speaking into the fact that showing up on social media is nice, it's great, but it isn't doing everything. What you really need to do is you need to use it as a part of your strategy, and your wider strategy is this. And so that it was kind of walking through that. It's available to watch on Cordelia's YouTube channel right now. So it should have taken that and condensed it down into this carousel. So social media isn't a marketing strategy. And if you think it is, you're working 10 times harder than you need to. Love it. That's great. Here's what's actually happening. Your Instagram post, 2 to 4% of followers see it. Facebook, 2%. LinkedIn, maybe 5 to 6%. And most of those people aren't even your ideal clients. They're mates, existing clients, or people nosying at what you're doing. You're shouting into a void. So that was the intro slide. Yeah. And then we've got the 3, 4. Has it given us the 5 and 6 is the conclusion? Yeah, that's great. So now what we're going to do then is build this carousel post. We've got 6 slides. So this is where we literally need to get the calculator out, and we need to go 1080 times 6 equals 6480. 6480. So let's remember that. And then we're going to create a new slide. And one thing I love about Canva these days, which is bloody marvelous, is the fact that you can have lots of different sized pages within a Canva doc now. It used to be that you have to have all your square ones in here and then open up another folder if you want to have different shapes. But no, you can have everything in one place now. So we're going to resize this page. So we just started a new page. We're going to resize it to a custom size. And the width is going to be 6480, 6,480. And the height, 1350 for our nice tall Instagram portrait. And then we click on File and then click on Settings and Show Rulers and Guides. And you just drag them over like this, basically. The first one is really easy because you're going to put that on 1080. Sometimes if you zoom in, it makes moving things easier. Yeah, that's much easier. 1080. Okay, then you can get your calculator out again and you can go 1080 times 2, which is 2160. So we're going to move this one over and it should be over on 2160. So now you've got 2 guides. And then the next one, I'm assuming that's right, but we're going to check. 3240 is where you want the third one. The fourth one, 4320. I feel like I'm doing some weird auction. Yeah. And 5400. So there are our guides. Now what we've got then is a blank canvas to essentially put stuff on. And the first thing I would do is get the text on there first. Should we just be a bit outrageous and change it to white? I've actually decided that I prefer dark on light. And it was ever since I ran a Facebook ad that completely smashed it out the park. And then I did the same Facebook ad with a black background and it exactly the same. The white background won. So ever since then, I've like trying to remind myself to use white backgrounds instead of black backgrounds because that's the one bit of data I've got that says that it's good. Right, so I'm going to paste that in there. Now, obviously, that's huge and it needs formatting, but it doesn't matter for now. We're going to get the images on. We're going to make this look pretty, and then we'll move the text around the images later. But we know that's what we want for slide 1 because we've already outlined this. So then slide 2 is going to be this. Wrong font and everything, but it doesn't matter. I'm just literally putting it in place for now. Slide 3. And remember, Canva doesn't, these aren't separate pages. Canva has no idea that this is a different page to that. It's just your guide that's there that's showing the difference. That is a good thing because it means that you can put things right in the middle of where there's going to be a page break. What we're going to do once we've published this and we've created it, we're happy with it. What we're going to do is turn it into a carousel by exporting it as the size that it is and then using another tool to cut it up. Should be all right though. There's a way of making it look good. We'll put we'll make text bold and then regular, and then we'll have headings and some points in the middle, and it'll be wrapped around images and it'll be nice and easy to look at. We're going to make it all Montserrat because then my brain will be happy, and let's just make it extra black. Then we want to go and think about styling it. One thing you can do, because you've got this canvas, you just get really interesting with how things look. So I recommend doing stuff like this. So we've got, let's say, that going down there like that, and then we can have that turned to the side like that. And then we can get that covering that whole area, maybe a bit more down like that. I'm gonna just turn it so it's not, we've got quite a big chunk missing on the edges there. Zoom out and I should be able to see this turny thing. That's better. And then because black on pink, even white on pink, it's going to be harsh to read. You don't want to make people turn their eyes away from reading stuff like that's like, whoa, it's on brand, which is great, but it is not nice to read. We might get another little box here. Put this over the top. We're going to make this box white and then put it like that. We've got this shape behind that's made things a bit interesting, but then we've still got this on a readable thing. And we might even give it a border like that to make it a bit more interesting as well. There we go. Okay, then you can also go to elements and search for, let's try black backgrounds. I want to give it a bit of texture. Here we go. So might come in on this next bit and perhaps make that slide there. And remembering that I'm actually just letting it bleed over into the other page so that they look connected. I want them to look connected because then it looks impressive, right? Because as you slide through them, it looks like one really cool piece of art that's been made across the whole thing. So, you might get like swirls of some kind. Oh, that's cute. We'll have a little yellow swirl. And then the next thing that you want to do as well is find, well, we've got black background, that's why. Find some pictures of you. Here we go, some pictures of me looking young and pink splattered. Let's get rid of that background. And so there we go. I could put myself on the cover there, and I would intentionally have my arm going over so that when you scroll through, my hand is touching the next page, and that is just going to be cut down the middle right there. So that's kind of how you build it out. And then it's just a case of making it look well spaced. I am going to give you a template for this that you can take and copy. I'm just showing you this so that you can kind of understand the thought process behind it, which I think is important. I might make that really big and put a couple of exclamation marks, because 2 exclamation marks is, oh, human wrote that. That's not very AI, is it? Making mistakes on purpose. Now that, I've got a couple of options. I can either move that out the way, which I'll probably do a little bit of, and make it smaller, which I'll probably also do a little bit of. Then we've got this subline. And just to show you this, so let's make that bigger. I'll make it over to the right, like that, and then overlap it with me. Oh, let's crop that part of me. Overlap it with me there. So I've got the U over my shoulder. And then what I'm going to do, press the enter bar, and that means I can then press space to move that over. So the text is now going around my body. There we go. So you can move things around like that and play around in terms of making it interesting, getting it going around stuff. I'm a fan of putting very bold text next to very not bold text. So might put that like there, and then it doesn't detract from the headline. And because the headline is hooked you in, you then want to read the bit underneath, but they're not competing with each other for attention. That's how you build out the whole thing, let's have a look at a template that I have completed. And this one is super easy to do because we have on every page a title or a hook for each page, and then what's written here. And we've got these arrows because these arrows are telling you subconsciously that you need to swipe through the slides, and that this is a carousel post and swiping is required. And then we've got the final page here. And so if you've got a picture of you holding something, that can be really good. Otherwise, you could just have a picture of you pointing to something, or you could just have the box on its own. But you want to have this template set up essentially so that all you then have to do is come and copy and paste the content onto the carousel like that. Here is one that I've already snipped up, but you can see like this is a good example of, you can see there's a bit of texture happening here, and then you've got it overlapping with each slide, and there's just so much space for me to just paste stuff on. I can come and use this over and over and over again, and each time maybe just swapping out the color on the front or the picture of me, so that there is a slight variable and difference every time I post a new carousel, but it's pretty much exactly the same. And then on that last one, we've got me pointing at that call to action excitedly. So that is the carousel post and how it works. In terms of what we do next, then we're going to take this and we are going to download that specific page. We're going to make it nice and big, maybe 1.5. That might be too big. We might need to compress it. Let's see how we get on. And we're going to download it. And then I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. So there we have it. That is how you create a carousel post. What I am doing, as promised, is inside the strategy lab, you are going to be able to get access to a complete walkthrough of how to do that process step by step. And that just makes it really nice and simple to implement. That's inside the strategy lab. And you can also get access to all the other step-by-step downloadable strategy guides, which are available to buy separately for around $9 each. But if you want to get all of them for free for the next week, you can jump in on a free trial and access all of my downloadable strategy guides. And if you want to continue, it's just $4 a month. Would be lovely to have you in there. If you have any questions, please do pop them in the comments for me and I will get back to you. Lots of love. Speak to you soon. Bye.